What's up, everyone? This is FP6 bringing you some more Go Battle League battles here in the Great League, and in today's video I'm going to be bringing you it was a very fun team to run. I'm not quite sure that it's one of my top teams that I've ever built. Being a content creator, I try to come up with as many different new team comps as possible to try out and to be able to produce videos as well. And most of the teams that I come up with just really don't end up working as good as I originally think they might in my mind. This team was a really fun concept, having double counter users in the back, and I wanted to build a team using Umbreon because I really like using Umbreon. It's incredibly bulky and it has a really high TDO, total damage output, because it's able to rip off these foul plays so fast, with Snarl being pretty quick in its energy generation. Kind of the thought process behind this team is Umbreon is obviously weak to fighting types, and so I have two Pokemon in the back, being Defense Deoxys and Toxicroak, that can handle the other fighting types. They're essentially counter users that beat the other counter users. Now, what you probably already see with this team is that in my thought process of protecting my Umbreon against opposing counter users, I kind of left myself open to somewhat having an Azumarill weakness. So Defense Deoxys is somewhat of a neutral matchup with Azumarill, and Toxicroak is somewhat of a neutral matchup with Azumarill. But what you'll see in some of these battles is that I don't have enough firepower to handle an Azumarill, especially if they safe swap it on me. Because neither DD or Toxicroak is a hard punish to an Azumarill. So you'll definitely see that occur. I do get some fun wins in these battles just purely based on probably my opponents being completely confused on what I'm running, because this is a very unpredictable team. Like, if I encountered this, I would have no idea what's in the back. So the surprise factor definitely allowed me to win some games, but in hindsight, after doing these battles, I definitely needed to protect my Azumarill weakness a little bit more. But let's go ahead and get into these battles and kind of walk through what's going on here. Barely able to get to this rock slide and take out this Meganium here, which is really good for me. Both Umbreon and Defense Deoxys are incredibly bulky. So Umbreon against Atropius. If it's Razor Leaf, this is actually not as good for me. Okay, so the fast move damage is really hurting. Whenever you see Atropius in the lead, there's like a 99% chance that there's a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. So I do know that my back line should line up fairly well. There's a variety of Pokemon that people use as a safe swap when they're running this as well. Sableye is one of them, and so I do bait out the Sableye with my Defense Deoxys, which is good for me. Obviously, this is a bad matchup for DD, but I get the Sableye on the field. That's the most important thing, that my Toxicroak doesn't have to be squared away with that. And Umbreon is a very solid response to this Sableye. Obviously, return is going to hurt, so I'm just going to throw this foul play immediately. I really don't want to get hit by the return if I don't have to. I'm still anticipating that there's going to be a G-Fisk in the back, so I can tank this Leaf Blade, no problem. And I should be able to get to another foul play because Umbreon is just a machine here. No matter what, if they shield this or if they let this go, I'm just going to switch into Toxicroak and get... Oh, I actually stay in. I want them to throw their energy. This is really good for me. Now I get an energy advantage with my Toxicroak. And in the back was most likely a Galarian Stunfisk or something weak to Toxicroak. Good game. Okay, Umbreon into Altaria. This is a favorable matchup for Umbreon, but if I remember correctly, I kind of biffed this a little bit. You do need to look out for a potential Dazzling Gleam from Altaria, and my opponent is building enough energy to threaten Dazzling Gleam, so I stupidly shield this, if I remember correctly. Yeah, even if it was a Dazzling Gleam, it doesn't matter, because this still should be a favorable matchup for Umbreon, and that was kind of just a wasted early shield there. Gonna get hit by another Sky Attack, unfortunate. One more foul play won't be enough, but I should be able to snarl down this Altaria. With those snarls there, this foul play might barely be enough. So I win the lead, but kind of terribly. I committed a shield that I didn't necessarily need to. Out comes Machamp. There's no need for me to stay in here. What in the world is this team? I have no idea, but Shadow Vic is on the field, and I am sad. Oh, man. I'm not going to be able to get to another Rock Slide. This is... Oh, I'm barely able to get to another Rock Slide. That's really good for me. So this is going to grab the last shield. And now my Toxicroak is going to be able to align with their Machamp. I really need to get a foul play off. So they do force the CMP, and I actually let this go. This is kind of a bold move, but I saved the shield for Toxicroak. I'm going to counter this down. I'm going to try to counter this down, but they most likely switch into Machamp right here. And then I stupidly over farm. I actually lose, well, I lose CMP here. Mud Bomb wouldn't have been enough. And Rock Slide barely doesn't take me up, but the counters are going to. All I needed to do there was shield my Umbreon to guarantee that I can get that foul play off and then immediately swap. So I totally threw that game. Terrible play on my part, but good game to my opponent. This is a very favorable lead for me. Umbreon wins this really solidly. Out comes Sableye. This is also a positive matchup for my Umbreon, so I don't really want to switch out of this quite yet. But I probably eventually will switch out of this. Return is going to do a lot of damage. So there's definitely a case to be made. I possibly could have shielded that, but I really want to get a shield from my opponent. They're still not shielding. So I actually switch into Toxicroak here to attempt to catch a foul play, which is good for me. I know I'm going to get farmed by the Jirachi, and now our switch clocks are wildly out of sync. So it kind of put me in an awkward spot because Umbreon kind of had to pull double duty there. I for sure am going to get into Umbreon here, and I do throw this foul play before my opponent is able to switch out. That's really good for me. I do get a shield there. Out comes Obstagoon, and I am stuck. I am stuck here because of my very clunky slow swaps in the beginning. This just goes to show everyone out there that I am not perfect. I make mistakes all the time, especially when I'm running new teams, and I'm not really comfortable with the synergy of how the Pokemon line up. When you're playing at this MMR around the 3000 range, this is no joke. Everyone up here is super sweaty, super try-hard. Everyone's trying to climb the leaderboards, and when you're messing around with new teams, mistakes are going to be made. I make a lot of mistakes in this video, but I hope that is one aspect of this channel that you all can appreciate, is just me always bringing open and honest content to you all. I do shield up this Doom Desire. Also, does this Jirachi have a Best Buddy ribbon? It does. That's kind of cool. I should barely survive this Doom Desire. No, it's just enough to take me out. Man, Doom Desire hits like a truck. I almost lost this game, leading an Umbreon into a Jirachi. Yikes. Oh. Look at this thing. So most likely there is a Bastiodon in the back. And so I'm just feeling good about the scenario here. They let that foul play go through. Really heads up play knowing that they would survive it. I'm actually just going to shield this and see what they want to do. I for sure get a shield here, or they just sack the Victory Bell, which is very rare for people to do. Out comes Obstagoon. Terrible play here. Why did I not just bring Toxicroak onto the Obstagoon? That's a great question. This is just really bad. It's still okay because like I still win this matchup, but Toxicroak would have been a lot more solid. I'm able to actually fully farm this down with minimal health to be farmed by whatever comes out. It's actually a Galarian Stunfisk. So in hindsight, this was actually a good play, but in the moment, I really felt like I made a mistake. Nice thing is that my Toxicroak is going to get aligned with this Galarian Stunfisk. They bring out Victory Bell, and then I get some sweet lag. I'm able to counter it down. And this Galarian Stunfisk is really loaded here. So I am, obviously Earthquake is going to KO from this range, but I do survive Rock Slide, so I'm going to think that they're baiting. They're not baiting. Props to my opponent. But I still win this because I have back-to-back foul plays here. And they don't have back-to-back Rock Slides, so I'm still able to win this. Slight variation on the typical Shadow Victory Bell team comp there. But man, like, definitely some sloppy gameplay coming from me here. definitely sloppy. Still a fun team to run. I'd really, again, I don't think this is like an amazing team or anything, but it's fun to use these bulky Pokemon, and I really like using Toxicroak a lot. So obviously this is a fairly neutral scenario here. Most people just go straight for the Earthquake, so I will shield that up. This just ensures that later on in the matchup I don't have to end up shielding Rock Slides if they do opt to stay in here. But it's looking like they're just going to sack their Galarian Stunfisk. Again, people that lead Galarian Stunfisk typically have some sort of a solid response to an Azu, so most likely a Grass type in the back. So I'm just going to switch in my Deoxys here. They bring out Cresselia, which this is, now that these Cresselias run Grass Knot, I feel like this is a slightly better matchup for Cresselia now because they can get to these moves a little bit quicker, and it still hits for some decent neutral damage. My opponent has so much energy here. They really have farmed up. They go for the Moonblast to try to get the debuff, I'm assuming, because from here on out they just go straight Grass Knot. You need 3 moves anyway, so I think triple Grass Knot might be the play there, but just going to throw another Rock Slide, and they're still not shielding anything. They have 2 shields. They switch back into their Stunfisk here. This is wild. I get a shield there. I did not expect them to shield that, but I'm okay with that. We get some more amazing lag there. Earthquake, I barely survive. I'm able to get to this foul play. If they shield, they can mud shot me down. But they let it go. There's no way they can Psycho Cut me down here. It is a Tropius in the back, so Galarian Stunfisk and Tropius is a very common pairing. It is an Air Slash Tropius as well, which is very bad for my Toxicroak. I even attempt a sack swap there, but my opponent knew that it was coming. Really nice play by them. I could have potentially shielded that there to ensure that I get to the Rock Slide, but at this point, my only win con is if I can... Oh, well, their Cresselia had the move anyway. Never mind. There's no win con. If I could successfully bait Mud Bomb and land the Sludge Bomb, would have been a different story, but good game. Umbreon into Abomasnow. This is favorable for Umbreon in all even shielding scenarios, going straight foul play. But I have 2 counter users in the back that are just sitting there feeling like they're useless. So I might eventually... I do make a swap right there. I bait out a Sableye. Most likely there's an Azumarill in the back, so this is probably going to be a decent display of my team lacking firepower against Azumarill. Because this is like an extremely popular team that is rolling around. Abomasnow, Sableye, and Azumarill. Sometimes it's Abomasnow, Alolan Marowak, Azumarill. Lots of people are just using combinations of Azumarill and Abomasnow. It's like a really common pairing. So I overfarm a lot. I throw the foul play. It is an Azumarill in the back. This is absolutely terrible for me, especially since I'm staying in here. At this point, yeah, this is just like all sorts of bad. This is just all sorts of bad because this Azumarill has loaded energy. I needed to swap in Toxicroak. I needed to swap in Toxicroak immediately there. Because all I did, like that last resort, the last resort damage was useless. It was pointless. I need a Sludge Bomb to KO anyway, so I need shields down. They have 2 shields here, and they get to another Weather Ball. This is so bad. This is so bad. Very, very bad. So at this point, I just let my opponent 2 shield flags on me. Good game. Good game. Okay. Fairly neutral. I'm really glad that I see this in the lead, though, so my Toxicroak doesn't have to see it, but DD is also a decent response to this, having Rock Slide and Thunderbolt. They do go for the Hurricane right off the bat, so really heads-up play. Umbreon users typically don't shield whatever the first move is because Umbreon is so bulky, so very good recognition from my opponent. Out comes Obstagoon. I finally get my Toxicroak on an Obstagoon. It feels great. Gonna farm this all the way down and have a lot of stored energy for whatever they have in the back. They're trying to go for the Night Slash boost. They don't get it. Probably Pelipper again. So I'm watching the top right for the typings there. See what comes in. It is Pelipper. I immediately go for the Sludge Bomb here. This is going to do a lot of damage if they let it go through. I get the last shield. Now I'm up 2 shields. Feels good. Amazing counting from my opponent once again right before I get to a Sludge Bomb. At this point, Umbreon is the safest choice just to absorb this damage. And then we'll see what's in the back. I'm just hoping it's not like a Sableye or something. That'd be very bad for me. It is their own Deoxys, and I'm up 2 shields, so good scenario for me. Good game there. Umbreon into Wobbuffet. Best Buddy Purified Wobbuffet. So that thing's run and return. Out comes Stunfisk. I'm able to get my Toxicroak on it, but again, very slow swap on my part. Like, they got like 2 mud shots through. That's sloppy gameplay. I do shield up the Earthquake, really good for me. Wobbuffet does run Counter and Mirror Coat with it, which is a Psychic type move, as well as most likely Return. So I don't have to worry about the fast moves from Wobbuffet, but I do need to worry about the charge moves. That's something I thought I would never say talking about Wobbuffet. So they're getting all my shields burned here, which is a nice play by them. They're able to get to another Rock Slide. Really good play on their part. Probably the Wobbuffet, yeah. This is wild. Even though Wobbuffet hits for super effective with the counters, it doesn't do that much. Okay, out comes the Azumarill, and in the 0 shield, even energy scenario, I feel pretty comfortable here. I can just go straight for Thunderbolt here. I'll get to 2 Thunderbolts, and they're not running Play Rough, it looks like. Or they're not running Hydro Pump, because they're just going straight Play Rough here. If this is Play Rough, I survive it. It is. And I'm able to get to this Thunderbolt. This barely doesn't KO. Oh, actually, it barely does KO. Very nice. I just immediately switch into my Umbreon here so I don't get countered down by the Wobbuffet. Oh my gosh, this thing is so bulky, and they are staying in here for the long haul, folks. So let's see how much damage Return does to an Umbreon. I know we're all waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. Are they going to throw a move here? Wobbuffet has 2 billion energy. Come on. Here comes the Return. Massive damage incoming. Yeah, I'm not really sold on Best Buddy Wobbuffet as a Pokemon. Just saying, it just really does not output that much damage. Sure, it's really tanky, but yikes. When that Return came through, I laughed out loud a little bit while I was battling. This is favorable for me, but man, okay. Never mind, this was a different game. So, Umbreon actually beats Toxicroak in the 0 shield when it has an energy advantage like this, because Umbreon's just so stinking bulky, which is just kind of crazy to think about. I should have shielded that first move, because now they can just bait me with Foul Play and it feels bad. I have to shield this, and oh, it's actually another last resort, so good shield on my part. I'm able to counter it down. Out comes Deoxys, and this is probably a Psycho Boost. I doubt that they stay in here any longer, and then they bring in a G-Fisk in the back. This is really not great for me. I think this is another match where I just kind of play terribly. So I'm staying in here because I need to put this G-Fisk into a range where I can counter it down. I really should have... Man, I had to shield this, but I really should have swapped a lot sooner. I'm still so slow here. I don't know why I'm throwing a Foul Play. I should save this energy against the Deoxys. Now I swap? I still have not swapped. I catch a move here that is not cool. I catch an Earthquake, but the switch clocks are completely up. So now I'm stuck in this matchup. I know they're running Psycho Boost, so most likely Psycho Boost Thunderbolt. G-Fisk is still fairly healthy. And I don't have that much energy loaded on my Umbreon. I get countered down here. Not great. I'm going to get hit by a Thunderbolt on my Umbreon. They shielded that, which was like, I really did not expect that. And then I'm over farming here again for who knows why. Who knows why? I don't know why. It would have been really nice to not get hit by that Thunderbolt there. It's just, yeah. maybe I was distracted playing these games because this is, unfortunately, it's going to be very close at the end, but I believe this earthquake takes me out. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Kind of a fun team, kind of bad plays on my part, but I hope you all appreciate it nonetheless. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.